Okay, this was going to be our UFC 290 recap episode, but Francis Ngannou and Tyson Fury came out of the woodwork and they were like, bag alert, major bag alert. And yeah, we got late breaking news. We're certainly not the first to cover this, but this morning it was announced across all fucking social media outlets that Tyson Fury went ahead and decided to fight Francis Ngannou, and I say decided because, you know, I think all the ball was in in Tyson Fury's court, and it was a fight that not just Francis but also Dana and John Jones were seeking out. But yeah, Francis Ngannou
showed their ass while they
showed
were
their whole ass. Yeah, and this has been in the works for some time now. It was a slow process. A lot of people had their criticisms of Francis Ngannou and his decision to walk away from the UFC and sign with another promotion and try and seek out this boxing match. A lot of people used the term "fumbled the bag" across the board, including me, and very much so. I wished he could be on this episode, but Mike definitely was shitting on John.
In our defense though, it was from a place. I think a lot of people come from a place of like, fuck that guy. I was coming from a place was like, shit, dude, this guy is so talented, and it's on record. I've listened back to it, so I made sure before I came and just ran my mouth. And I knew it in my head, and as I sit here talking to you, it was always just, he has such an amazing talent. He crosses over, his story is relatable across like international narratives that you can, anyone can identify with that at some point about they know someone or anything, and maybe they could never fathom what this guy went through. So it just went across so many different, his story, everything. And his talent was insane. Immense, obvious talent. Yeah. His presence, there's just guys that just aren't built like that. Guys that don't have the gait that he has. It's just like, man, I really hope this isn't, because we've seen it before, you know, maybe not necessarily even in UFC or MMA, but across sports, you just see it in entertainment, acting, all kinds of stuff. Just wasted talent. Yeah, not so much wasted, but just misdirected, maybe.
Yeah, a man who came from nothing. Like we've heard the story. We haven't gone into detail about his story, and I don't know every single detail about it either. But you know, working in the sand mines at age 13, migrating from Cameroon to France. Getting deported in the process and getting sent back to Cameroon, and then doing it again, and then eventually getting into combat sports, crossing an ocean, you know, knowing like 2.5, 3 languages. I think about the things that I get insecure about, or the things that hold me up from just chasing whatever, and think about how little those obstacles are, those hurdles really are.
Dude. Yeah.
And when I think about like what Francis Ngannou went through, Kenny would still be in the sand mine. I can tell you that much right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, maybe I would eventually make it out of the sand mine. I'd be on the edge of the sand mine.
Wasting our money on like stupid shit outside the sand mine, just like fucking idiot. Like, so, and then watching the homie get on the boat, like he's going back again.
Talking shit. You gotta go be a fighter, Francis. You fucking idiot. Get back in the sand mine. No. It really, you could make a movie about the guy's life. It's really crazy how far he's come in this niche sport of mixed martial arts. But as far as this fight goes, give me an idea of your excitement level. Like where does it stand specifically compared to Mayweather McGregor? Because that's the biggest like comparison we could make as far as like these big crossover fights.
Right. And when this first popped, one of the things that really kind of like gave me a cause for pause was it was going to be like a no knockdown, like gentleman's agreement, where it was going to be basically a sparring match where there wasn't going to be any type of like over maybe a 70% at most, 60% strength, no knockdown rule, almost like just a very stipulated expedition. What's the word I'm looking for? Exhibition. What the hell? And so that was like, whoa, dude, that would really kill this. Like, don't even do it.
Yeah.
Don't even do it. And even right now, this is great. This is awesome news. Francis pulled. He not only did Dana and John show their whole ass going on Twitter, going in on Instagram lives, Dana going on these crazy streams and just talking shit, and like really just looking. Now it looks super desperate now in hindsight.
Yeah,
but.
Especially since he had gone back on his own word, like from just a few weeks prior to that,
absolutely.
where he was talking about we don't do gimmick fights, and everybody.
And then I think now thinking about it, and sorry to cut you off, but I think now looking at it, he must have known that it was actually. Oh. He didn't want to admit it, but it was actually probably kind of almost a done deal, and I think one of the things that happened was that tournament with Usyk and Fury and Joshua, and they were trying to find other guys to put in on that fourth that they were going to do in Saudi Arabia. I think it's not going so well right now. I think that's kind of crumbling under their feet, and I think Fury kind of warmed up to the Ngannou news, and I think Dana probably got wind of that, and then that's when he kind of panicked, because that's obviously a panic move what he and John did.
Yeah.
And that's definitely orchestrated together, like they were conspiring to do that together.
Oh yeah,
there's no way they weren't. And
there's an easy way to do it too. I mean, they kind of had started it with Joe with Rogan on his podcast.
Right, oh yeah, gross. And now it's all gross. At the time, it's just these guys. It's just funny, but now that it's like actually happening, it's like shit. But okay, so let's all. I definitely have to give Francis 100% credit, because it's the way that he did that, and he pushed it. So like, what's the UFC's response? Like, because they put Ariel, of course, the worm, like the worm that he is, fucking put out the like, oh, it is gonna happen, but it's gonna be kind of like a heavily stipulated type of deal where there's gonna be agreements for this and this and this, and then so the UFC came back with, oh, well, John Jones and Stipe are fighting. This time it's going to be at Madison Square Garden. And then Francis pushed it back like, no, it's for sure. It's Tyson Fury, and it's in Saudi Arabia. Now it's this like big fucking time shit where he got them to show their hand. Like, and they probably did it very smug, very sloppy, off, knowing that this card was going to be the way this card was, and just like, we're the UFC.
Yeah.
Who the fuck are you?
And speaking of smug and sloppy, like it really, I mean, with the benefit of hindsight, but I think about some of the comments that Dana was making in the whole lead up to this about like, oh, we found a way to get Mayweather paid, we'll get Fury paid. When it's like, oh, what are you talking about? I'm surprised nobody that was behind the Maymack fight spoke up and said, what do you mean you got Mayweather paid?
Mayweather drove all sides of that boat, dude.
Yeah.
And he like flew the helicopter onto that yacht and then like threw the yacht off and smashed the champagne. He did everything for that fight. Conor just showed up and got coked out and did his thing. That was it.
His dangling arm waving warm up.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can tell, I mean, I'm sure there was in no small way the UFC probably did carry a little bit of water for that. But I mean, Mayweather held all the cards for that. So I hope, for Fury's sake, I hope he doesn't go the Mayweather route, because what Mayweather's doing now is a little weird. Fighting like mafia don sons and shit. That's very strange.
Japanese boxers and stuff.
Yeah, because the McGregor shit was cool. The fucking he's fought a couple guys like that, like the Jake Paul shit or the Paul brothers shit. That was cool.
Tension.
Okay, cool. Yeah, cool. And then it just turned into like, whoa, dude, that's like that Mr. Fantastic Beam when he just gets darker and darker. Like he's like fighting John Gani's son. And you're just like, what is this, dude?
So getting back to the fight itself and like how it looks in the ring, because that's one thing that we can't get kind of like past our feet. Like there's a really good chance that Ngannou looks really bad in this fight.
Going to,
it's very likely. I mean, due to his immense power. I mean, okay, do you feel like because of his power, because it's a heavyweight fight, that Ngannou has a better shot against Fury than Conor did against Mayweather?
Whew, good. Wow. Yes.
Okay, just like the puncher's chance, the difference-making power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because you can't. There's certain things that Mayweather can just outskill, and Fury can outskill, but you can't. There's just nothing. Getting hit with a Ford Festiva, like coming at like 45 miles per hour, is you can't train any part of your body for that.
So safe to say that after October 28th, when this fight happens, win or lose, Francis will have won the game of prize fighting. And it doesn't really matter if his stock takes a hit, probably.
Let's see. This is all great right now. This could go very bad. I mean, it really could. It really, really could. And that's why I think Dana should have taken a more tactful, response to this, because he could have just, let him. I mean, yeah, hey, you want to fight Fury? That's great. And then let's just see how it goes. Play the long game on that. And then, because at the end of the day, Francis is the dude who's put up some stinkers. He has lost, for all the things John Jones is, Francis isn't. Yeah. And so if you kind of just let that play itself out, then you kind of look good in the beginning because you're not being petty. And then when it does fucking eventually fall off, which there's a good chance it could, with the Fury fight and with PFL.
That's what I was going to ask. Do you feel like the PFL potentially takes a big hit from this? Because I kind of feel like it's really cool that they're letting him do this and that they're playing ball. Yeah. And the name PFL is going to get mentioned a lot in the lead up to this and during that fight. He's going to be called PFL fighter Francis Ngannou. I mean, maybe they call him former UFC champion Francis Ngannou more
everything
than
I've seen from the huge outlets, because from the little outlets that you and I follow, everyone kind of mentions PFL.
Right.
When you look at USA Today or New York Post or LA Times or whatever, it's former UFC heavyweight champion.
Right. Lineal champion if he's lucky. Yeah. Because right now it's Johnny Bones. But I have to think that at least somebody at PFL has to be thinking what are we? I mean, are we really going to pay a premium to send this guy to get slept potentially against Tyson Fury, and what'll be the biggest fight of the year? And then what does it really do for us to get the PFL mentioned on that pay-per-view? Because I mean, I would hope that Francis's thirst or hunger for fighting,
he can get slept, or he can pull a Derek Lewis fight. One of the two.
Oh, just completely.
And then she's like, what even is this? Okay, and then so now we're going to go watch you fight who? What? So I think the respect and the tip of the cap goes to Francis right now. For sure won the battle, but there still is a war element to it. He fired the first shot. Now he's weakened the UFC crazy. Crazy, yeah.
Do you of the potential heavyweight boxers that he could have fought, is this the one that you would go with if you could have, knowing now that everything was probably on the table, but do you not feel like maybe Deontay Wilder maybe would have been a better matchup?
I think Fury is down to play ball and maybe carry a fight.
Oh, I see what you mean. Deontay Wilder might not want to. As soon as he goes in there,
Wilder won't get the "all right, dude, let's go" oink kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not going to say that it's a straight up Jake Paul rigged fight.
No,
I'm going to say that. But these guys are definitely going to be let's fucking play this shit up in the interviews.
Let's give these Saudis what they paid for.
These motherfuckers what they paid for. But then at the same time, I don't want to get fucking knocked out.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to get fucking knocked out. Let's go out there and give it what we got. But,
Does this fight happen without Saudi Arabia?
Yeah.
You think so? You think they would have found a way to do it with a promoter here at stateside? Or maybe...
now that I'm thinking about it, because I'm thinking about that dirty money that that like show up in the room and there's like a suitcase on the table. Like,
because
how did that get there?
Yeah,
what is that?
Because I've heard some media members, and I'm going to use that term loosely because some of them were like Chael's son, and I mean he's a media member.
Yeah.
But I've heard some people say that this is like
he's on ESPN, dude.
That they're gonna, but he's such a clown though. I've heard a lot of people say that they don't make money on this fight. The Saudis are going to lose. They're paying for this because they want to see it as fans themselves in a way. But there's some doubt that this really is like a moneymaker just because of the high dollar that both guys are going to demand.
They don't make money doing anything. They don't care. They don't care. It's exhibition shit. It's it's like lifestyle, cultural thing for them. It's a flex. It's like remember, and I know it was a takeoff of something else, but remember in like Rick and Morty when they were like in that multiverse, or they like switched where it was that guy that collected things, and it was basically like this person from this universe and this person from that universe, and he made little like dioramas of them in their natural states, and like you just kept looking at them and looking at them.
Oh, yeah.
They kind of look like Rick, and I think that's what the Saudis do, dude. They like make living, breathing museum pieces, and they like show it off. Okay. So like they're just like, look at we can make these guys dance like puppets, like however we want, because they do. We mentioned it on the pod, like they do have like there's rumors that like Stone Cold and the Undertaker went up against like Triple H and Batista in like this crazy match. They like throw crazy ass matches just for themselves and birthdays and shit.
Mike was telling me about those where they'll have the WWE come over and do a special pay-per-view just for them, and they'll bring out all of the old like the Attitude Era stars and stuff, because they don't care about what current storylines they're working or anything. They're just like, just give us
just the guy's name,
give us the ones
and
that
then
we
the Iron
like.
Sheik will win,
and no women do not.
Please no. Sable, like get out of here.
If Francis Ngannou pulls off the upset, is he like the biggest name in combat sports?
He's just the greatest to ever do anything ever.
Does the UFC roll out the red carpet? Do you think?
I think the thing is that Dana does, just like his buddy that he had at 290, Trump, like you just don't admit you're wrong. You just get even more clownish and cartoonish, and you're just, you gaslight, and that's what Dana's going to do. But I mean, for the real people keeping score, it's going to be funny. It won't change. The UFC will still be huge. The UFC will still be the greatest thing ever. And the PFL will just always be the PFL, but they will definitely, it'll jump. I guarantee you it won't be a crazy like 30% jump in revenue or eyeballs. It'll be like maybe a 10-15% jump, even at the very best. On
the UFC's YouTube channel, like the week leading up to that fight, they're gonna drop Francis Ngannou versus Derek Lewis, like you mentioned, free fight. Stipe versus Francis Ngannou 1. All of that good stuff. Okay,
absolutely.
We joked a little bit in our group chat about like the fantasy matchmaking that Dana's going to do as like pretend counter programming. Like what are some of the realistic things? Because we talked about he's going to try and bring Ronda Rousey out of retirement or something like that.
I think he can get Habib. And I think Habib and GSP,
a grappling match,
not even the grappling match. I think he could. There's a dollar amount that both of them would take. GSP has like said in podcasts and stuff that I've listened to, and like I remember I read his audiobook and stuff. He goes back and forth, but he always leaves it open. He's like, fucking, I'm gonna say no to $15 million, and then it was such a low number. Like, dude, doc, $15 million's not a lot, dude. No, not a lot. Like
the UFC can easily pay that, and they'll still be having one of their better years. Like,
and then you're gonna tell me. So, say for instance, you give them each 12 and 12. with whoever wins gets another 15. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And that's nothing for the UFC, dude. That's nothing. And then not only that, to not, and then they have investors, they have people they can put money down for, where, and that's just off the cuff. I'm not trying to do this math here, but if you offer them this much money with a huge purse for the winner to get that mm-hmm. type of like intensity in the training, okay, this is serious. Then you can do a lot of things, and it's not, even if they lose that money, it's still like, hey, that's great, Tyson Fury, but this is like MMA. This is our thing. This is what we're doing. This is the best we can do. Yeah. This is what everybody wants to fucking see. I do. There's really no now that Anderson Silva is where he's at. Now that we know Francis could never fight John. I mean, what is there really to make? Like you were saying, what realistically they could. What can they realistically do? And I think Khabib's not too far away, and GSP's just in amazing shape all the fucking time.
I think one of the easiest things that they can do to get a slice of the pie, if let's say Ngannou loses, like he's very likely going to against Fury, but still has a good fight, doesn't look like a complete a novice, and has a competitive loss, and his status is elevated. I would like to see if this would motivate the UFC to finally co-promote again. And I don't mean co-promote with PFL, because I don't think they really want to let one championship, like, hey dog, Mighty Mouse is gonna take on fucking, where is he at over there? He's like, I don't, their weight classes are a little different, but like, who would he fight here? Imagine like one's top guys fighting. I figure Jones versus Francis would be the fight to make after that. The hunger for that fight is going to be through the roof, and Jones, it would very likely be a retirement fight. Anyways, he's already talking like this Stipe matchup is going to be his last fight. So if they can say, so I mean, for one, they don't have to worry like, oh, Francis could potentially beat our guy, and then now the best guy's not in the UFC. Well, the best guy's already not in the UFC. The best guy had already walked from the UFC in that division. You found a guy to replace him, and he has an expiration date. He's going to hang him up soon. Just do a one-fight contract with Francis afterwards, and they have the benefit in doing that. They can kind of pull the rug out from under the PFL a bit to say, "Hey, listen, we're so powerful. After you sent your guy to go get his bag in this boxing match, we can still dangle this carrot and be like, hey, one-fight contract with John Jones, come make it happen." In the PFL, what are they going to say? I mean, really, how are they going to compete with that? And either guy can win or lose. It shouldn't make any difference to the UFC, because
I wonder how hard it would be for the PFL to sue, because they're under the same like ESPN type of deal. Like Disney, like the mouse will come out and do like, oh, you're not suing anyone. Just like, shut the fuck
up. I could see that also. I guess,
but I don't think Dana's vindictive and dirty, dude. He's petty as fuck. He's never going to give. If anything, he'll go the opposite of like, who? When they ask him like, oh, what'd you think about the Francis? I didn't watch that.
Yeah. What a fucking.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Looked like a fucking circus to me. Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be some stupid shit. And then I think he could get like, and then maybe they do like this crazy tournament or something where it's just like all these guys. And I do think GSP and Khabib are, because I mean, come on. If Khabib goes, okay, I've been out for 2 years. Eagle FC shit the bed. I don't. What's going on here? Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm sure he gets money for doing like speeches and appearances in Middle East and all that kind of stuff, and that's got to be great. But like, you're telling me 30 million or something, 25 million wouldn't just, and he's still in his prime. He could still do it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and then George St. Pierre's like, all right, I can, yeah.
Do you?
But would they be self-aware to know that, like, you guys just want us to do this because Francis. You know what I'm saying? So,
oh yeah, no, they absolutely, especially now in the social media age. Like, I was like, it was kind of refreshing to see everybody, or all the MMA IG pages that we follow, all immediately start posting memes about the kind of bullshit announcements that Dana's going to make.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, so that's like become meta now. Like, people are aware of that. That's not such
everyone just knew that's for sure zeitgeist shit where like everyone's just pulling from the same consciousness.
I was like, oh, we're not these, we're not so in the know that we have to roll our eyes and tell casuals like, no, that's not a real
the
fight.
Fire ant memes. Like, we're just fire ant in a colony, dude, just like biting at the same time.
Yeah, it's like, come on, no, Paulo Costa hasn't signed a contract to fight Ikram Aliskerov. Like, So a tip of the hat to all of MMA media on that one.
He'll probably just say like, fuck it, Hamzat and Adesanya. That's what you guys fucking want. Like, here we go, dude. That's one like where the guys are signed, right? Would it be Hamzat and Adesanya? Who would it? Let's like talk that out. Like, who would that be?
Oh, you mean like big counter programming fights?
Counter programming with guys that they have, because we're talking about Habib and GSP. Those guys. Oh, okay. I'm talking about like, fuck, he can put this together. It would be Hamzat and somebody.
The timing looks right. I don't want this to be the fight that they make, and we're going to talk about this on our UFC 290 recap. But the Volkanovski versus Islam 2 rematch is, timeline wise, it looks like that could actually be lined up exactly for October. Sure. I think, because I believe now that Charles Oliveira is not going to be available.
I can't. I can't.
Yeah. So let's transition to that. Let's put a bow on this. I'm happy for Francis, but
dude. Oh man, way to go, dude. But now, like, all right, dude. Like, you caught the car. Like, what are you gonna? The dog chasing the car, dude. Like, okay, what are you gonna do?
Yeah. And it's still some time between now and October 28th. So very interested to hear any new developments or get more information as to what exactly the rules are going to be, because it's still up in the air as to whether or not it's going to be an exhibition or a pro fight. I really doubt that it's going to be a pro fight, especially since it's over in Saudi Arabia. But I'll be really happy if it's just a regular old boxing match, regular rules, whatever the Queensberry rules.
Yeah, whatever the fuck.
Yeah. Hopefully there won't be any kind of gimmicky stipulations, but we'll be here to cover this ongoing boxing, super fight news between Francis and Tyson Fury. We'll catch you on the next breaking news edition of the Fight Plug podcast.
Like, subscribe, and we love every single one of you that watch this. Thank you.